You know that feeling when you're watching someone live your dream life through a screen and you want to drain them of it? Their beauty, their immortality, their permission to be dangerous? You don't think of it as vampirism. You call it inspiration. You like their photos. You retweet their trauma. You're addicted to their downfall. We all are. And vampires? They're just the first monsters we invented to explain why we can't stop wanting to become what destroys us. That's where we're going today. The thing about vampires is they don't exist. They never did. But they've killed more people than most dictators ever could, just not in the way you'd think. They killed possibilities. They sucked the blood out of entire villages, not because fangs are real, but because people believed them so desperately that they dug up corpses and drove stakes through the hearts of their neighbors. This happened hundreds of times. In 1672, a man named Arnold Payol died in Serbia. Pretty standard death. Unremarkable. But a few weeks later, people started getting sick. Then they started dying. And someone remembered, didn't they see Arnold walk past their window at midnight? Didn't his shadow look thirsty? Within months, the entire village was convinced they had a vampire problem. So they exhumed his grave. His body was still soft. It bled. And what they didn't know, what nobody knew, was that decomposing bodies do that. The enzymes break down tissue. Liquids pool. It looks like the corpse just fed. But they didn't have science then. They had fear. So they cut out his heart. They burned it. They scattered his ashes. And they felt safe again. Until the next person died. Then they dug up more bodies, more hearts, more graves. The panic spread like a virus because humans don't fear what's logical. We fear what we don't understand. And we fear what mirrors us most. And that's the secret vampires have always held. Stop here for a second. I need to ask you something real. Have you ever noticed how the people you're most jealous of are the ones who seem to take without giving back? They're beautiful and you're aging. They're confident and you're anxious. They live forever in the spotlight while you fade into the background. There's a specific pain in that, isn't there? An unfairness that makes you want to pull them down, to drain them, to prove they're not actually invincible. If that hit you, drop a comment right now. Just write, "I felt this." Because when you do, someone else reading it will realize they're not alone in feeling it too, and that matters more than you think. The vampire legend didn't come from nowhere. It came from the exact same wound we all carry. The terror of being forgotten and the obsession with never being ordinary. During the Middle Ages, when plague killed almost everyone you knew, the fear wasn't just of death. It was of dying without being remembered. Villagers would wake up sick and think, "I'm next." They'd see a corpse that still looked fresh and think, "He's still here, still feeding, still powerful while I'm wasting away." The vampire became the ultimate metaphor for power in a powerless time. He never aged. He never got sick. He never had to watch his body betray him. He was eternal. And they couldn't kill him because he was already dead. The only thing more seductive than immortality is the promise that someone else can't have it either. Stake through the heart. Problem solved. Peace of mind. Except it never was. In 1751, Austria sent a government official to investigate vampire reports in a small village. Actual government, actual investigation. By that point, Europe was starting to wake up. Enlightenment, reason, science, all of that was supposed to kill superstitions. But what he found was worse than superstitions. He found mass hysteria. He found communities tearing themselves apart over paranoia. He found that when people are desperate enough, they don't need vampires to be real to destroy each other. The legend was just permission. It was the reason they could say out loud what they already felt. Something is feeding on us. Something that looks human but isn't. And we have to kill it before it kills us all. Sound familiar? This is every witch hunt, every genocide. Every time someone decided a group of people were monsters that needed to be eliminated, the vampire wasn't a creature, it was a mirror we held up to justify cruelty. But here's where it gets twisted. Somewhere in the 1800s, vampires stopped being villains. They became tragic, seductive, romantic. Bram Stoker wrote Dracula in 1897, and he didn't write a monster. He wrote a tragic king, a man cursed with immortality, seducing women, drinking their life force, and somehow you wanted him to win. You wanted him to drain Mina. You wanted him to drain Jonathan. Not because he was good, but because he was real in a way nobody else was. He felt something. He wanted something so badly, it drove him to consume everything in his path. And for the first time, we realized, oh. That's why we're so obsessed with vampires. They're not evil because they're hungry. They're seductive because they never apologize for their hunger. They take what they want and they don't feel guilty about it. That's when vampires became us. Modern vampires aren't the creatures hiding in graveyards. They're influencers who drain your self-esteem in 15-second videos. They're billionaires who accumulate wealth like blood, growing younger while everyone around them ages under debt. They're celebrities who feed on your attention and disappear the moment you stop watching. They never die, they just rebrand. They never apologize, they just delete. They drink your time, your energy, your belief in your own future, and somehow you subscribe for more. You refresh their page, you wait for the next video. You want to know how they stay so young, so beautiful, so impossibly alive, while you get older every single day. If stories like this one hit you deeper than they should, if you crave the truth that textbooks try to clean up, then you belong here. Subscribe so you don't miss the next time we drag another piece of the past into the light. Vampire fiction exploded after the 1800s because we finally had the language to describe how power actually works, not through fangs, but through seduction. Bram Stoker understood something profound. The scariest monsters aren't the ones that force you. They're the ones you invite inside. They're the ones you want to let win. Count Dracula never breaks into your home. You open the door. He never forces Mina to love him. You watch her become obsessed. And the entire novel is about men trying to protect women from desire, when really they're just trying to protect themselves from the truth that women want to be consumed. Women want to matter enough to be hunted. Women want someone to cross the world for their blood. That's not corruption. That's hunger, recognizing hunger. It's power, recognizing power. And it terrifies everyone who doesn't have it. By the 1900s, vampires weren't scary anymore. They were aspirational. Nosferatu came out in 1922, and the vampire was still a monster, but he was beautiful, haunting, tragic. We started making movies where vampires were the heroes and humans were the invaders. We started fantasizing about being bitten, about being chosen, about being special enough to attract something ancient and powerful. And it never stopped. From Anne Rice to True Blood to Twilight to The Vampire Diaries to every supernatural drama where the love interest is a bloodsucker who just so happens to be emotionally available. We've spent over a century packaging our deepest desires as horror. We want to be selected by something immortal. We want to be loved so intensely that someone would literally die for us. We want to matter that much. The vampire isn't the monster in these stories. The human is. Boring, mortal, in the way. And isn't that what we all secretly feel? That we're in the way? That we're not enough? That someone, something, somewhere else is more alive than we are? Social media is vampirism. Addiction is vampirism. Ambition is vampirism. Anything that feeds on you without feeding you back. Anything that promises immortality while sucking your minutes dry. That's what the vampire was always trying to explain. You scroll at 3 a.m. because something is hunting you. Your own need to matter. Your own terror of being forgotten. You post and you wait for the hit, for the validation, for proof that you're real, that you're seen, that you're not just another body aging in darkness. And every time you get that notification, someone just took a sip. Someone just drank a little bit of your attention, your time, your youth. And you'll do it again tomorrow. You'll expose your neck again. Because deep down, being consumed by something powerful feels better than not being consumed at all. It feels better than being ignored. It means you matter enough to be hunted. The vampire never went away because humans never changed. We still fear what we don't understand. But now we understand vampires so well, they don't scare us anymore. They just seduce us. We still fear mortality, and now we have technology that promises to defeat it. Crypto, biotech, AI, immortality as a subscription service. We've just updated the mythology. The creature that never dies, that feeds without consequence, that maintains its youth while everyone ages around it, we've stopped calling it a monster. We call it progress. We call it innovation. We call it the future. And we can't wait to let it bite us. You think you're different from the villagers who dug up corpses? But maybe you're not. Maybe you're just more sophisticated about which graves you dig. Maybe you're just better at convincing yourself that the thing consuming you is salvation. Maybe that's what they thought too, right before they realized the real vampire was always the one staring back from the mirror.